Hey, it's Kerry, and I'm coming to you live from the shop for my Monday is for Mission video. And I want to talk to you about social media. We all use it. It's prominent. It's something that we're just so inundated with, it seems, these days. And social media, for the most part, is a great way to stay connected to people, to stay connected with our friends, to see what's going on in their lives, to share what's going on in ours. That's great. We use Facebook and Twitter, Instagram is another, YouTube, and various others. There's so many others I'm sure that I'm not familiar with. But anyway, the big players like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram for sure are ones that we're probably more familiar with and we use more often. So, social media really is a great thing, but as we know, with great things can also, come some dangers, come some hazards. So social media can sometimes be trouble, and I think we're experiencing that so much in life, especially these days. There's just so much that's going on, and you think about the ways that we use social media. One way that we use it is for a platform. Okay, a platform on which we can share our views, where we can make statements, where we can have discussions, if you want to call them that now. We can't really call them that necessarily, but a platform on which you can stand and share and speak. Another way that we sometimes use social media is we use it as a distraction. We use it as something to fill the time with. But let's think about each one of these. Okay, first think about it as using it as a platform. Social media can, in that way, sometimes become fuel for conflict, and we find ourselves jumping into the fray, or something that we thought innocently commented on or posted about or tweeted about. Suddenly, it's getting a lot of attention, and unwanted attention, and terrible comments, and we find ourselves just being drawn into arguments on Facebook. And it's not healthy. It's just not healthy, is it? It pulls our hearts in so many different directions, and we find ourselves saying things, typing things out, making comments and posts and tweets that we would not say if we were sitting with that person across from them at a table. It's funny how we have such a courage from the safety of our screens. And that's often what it's like. It's just we retreat to the safety of our screens, and we feel we can say pretty much anything we want to say. We have a platform on which we can speak. And then using it as a distraction. We have so many other things that are going on in life that are far more important than what's happening in social media, honestly. Even though it's through social media that we learn what other people are doing, what's going on in their lives and so forth, but it becomes a distraction. You just look around the room, maybe even where you're sitting right now, at all the people in your family staring at their phones. The television may be on, music may be playing, something else is going on, but everybody's staring at their phones. And it's a distraction. When we're bored, when we don't want to have a conversation with someone, we take out the phone. In those awkward moments, we take out the phone. We start looking at things on our phones. And it's a distraction. People will sit in their homes day after day, particularly with the pandemic as it's going, and people are at home so much more. They're bored, so they just look at their phones and scroll through Facebook, and looking at the Twitter feeds and Instagram feeds, and looking at the life that other people have that looks so glamorous. And one of the things about social media, we're trying to present an image sometimes, especially with Instagram. People take pictures and they use the filters to make things look so much better than they actually are. And it's an image they want to portray. Sometimes we use social media for that. There's an image that we want to portray to the public to everybody else, to our friends, to those that are following us, and it's really not real life. Sometimes you're scrolling through and you see people's Instagram feeds or their Facebook, and it seems like, oh, the life is just amazing. Look at these pictures. And look where they are, look what they're doing, and we feel like our life is just trash. You know, we don't have that. So we beat ourselves up, and it's just a big distraction. So I want to give you just a few things to think about, maybe some tips, if you want to call it that, some tips about using social media in a more responsible way. One thing I would say is just turn off the notifications, because what will happen is if you have your notifications turned on, especially the audible notifications, and even sometimes the visible ones, when you get a notification, you immediately pick up the phone and see who it is and what's going on, who liked my comment, who shared something new, and we're drawn into it immediately. So turn off the notifications. Discipline yourself to check the notifications or check your phone only every so often. You know, reserve it for lunchtime, reserve it for the end of the day, reserve it for before going to bed, whatever it is. But don't just feel you're enslaving yourself when the little ding or the swoosh goes off and you have to grab your phone and see what is happening now, you know? So turn off the notifications. Also, don't let your phone be the first thing you look at in the morning or the last thing you're looking at night before bed. So often that's exactly what we do, isn't it? As soon as we wake up, we pick up the phone. I do it. I do it because I use my phone as my alarm clock, okay? And it goes off and I'll pick it up and immediately, you know, emails or texts or anything else that has come through overnight, and I silence it overnight, I see first thing in the morning. It's kind of hard sometimes not to let that be the first thing you see, but it's a discipline we all need, I think. But also don't let it be the last thing you're looking at before you go to bed, because if you're reading those posts and it's a big argument that's going on, it's a heated discussion or debate, you know, that's the last thing on your mind before you go to sleep, and you may, you know, toss and turn overnight, and you're thinking about what you want to say, and you may even wake up and say, I got to respond to that in the middle of the night. It's not a healthy thing, folks. So don't let it be the last thing you look at before going to bed. If you find yourself just mindlessly scrolling through Facebook or through the feeds of Twitter or Instagram, put it down. Just let a reminder go off. Put this down. Do something else. Get up and walk around the room. Take a walk. Play with the kids. Read. You know, it's something like we're forgetting how to do, is to read. Read a magazine article. Read a book. What's a book? Yeah, it's those things with pages that sit on the shelf and collect dust in many homes. Some homes don't even have them. It's sad, very sad. Have a conversation with a real person, even if you have to call them up. I know you're using your phone, but at least you're not scrolling through things. You're having contact with a real person. So do those things. Pray. Sit quietly. Meditate on some scripture. Something else. What else? Don't call people out. You know, we have that temptation on a Facebook feed. We're going to call them out. We're going to, get in our little jab. We have to resist that. So many times I have typed out a post or a comment, and I will let it just sit. Because it's, I know that it's charged, so I just let it sit for a while. And most of the time, you know what I do? I delete it. I never share it. I never post it. And we need to take that time, especially if it's an issue that is really controversial. It's something we feel very passionate about. We think we got to say something. We got to put our 2 cents in. Write it out, but pause before sharing it. Let it sit for a little while. Then come back. Is it really necessary that I say that? Is it really necessary that I share this? And most of the time, it's not. It's really not. It's not going to be helpful at all. People don't necessarily need to know what we think. And we're getting into discussions and debates and arguments with total strangers, friends of friends and strangers of friends, people who we don't even know. And already we're an enemy, or they are an enemy. We don't even know them. Social media has a lot of pitfalls, folks, and we've got to be very careful, particularly if we are followers of Jesus. We're supposed to be demonstrating and speaking the good news. So why not post things and share things that uplift, that proclaim the good news in some way? Share scripture. Share what you're praying for. Share what God is doing in your life or in the lives of people around you. Speak good news. Let that be what you're sharing and taking pictures of. And twist it, turn it around, make it good. There's so much bad that's out there. So listen, use social media responsibly. This is something that God has given to us. We need to be good stewards of it. It's a way to communicate and give information, receive information, to stay in touch and stay connected. And we're using social media even more probably now than ever, with churches not being able to meet as they did, and small groups and our missional communities not being able to really connect at times. We can use this to our advantage. Let's use it for some good, but don't let it become a platform on which you're just going to voice your opinions or just jump into the fray, into the arguments. And don't let it be just something where you're trying to present an image of something that you're not. Be who you are. Speak the good news. Tell the truth about what God is doing. Use it for good. So that's some things I just wanted to share today. This is Mission for Monday. Mission Monday. Monday is for mission. So be on mission with your social media. Another way that we can proclaim the good news and live the life that God has called us to. Hope that helps you guys. Bless you. Have a great week.